And we live. Welcome back to Transmutation Station with the wonderful and beautiful Magestic Magi neighborhood hope dealer. What's poppin', Majestic? What's poppin', Marcy?
Hey, nothing, not too much. How you doing? Good to
Man,
be here.
yeah, bless.
Hanging out in Cali.
I'm so jealous. You live in the Cali life. Is it beautiful? Is it like refreshing out there?
Yes, very beautiful, much needed. Um,
Good.
Hanging out by the water.
I'm so
Not right
jealous.
now, of course.
Yeah,
I
touche,
wanted to be up.
touche.
I was gonna go up there, but I thought that the sun would be too bright and I wouldn't be able to see or hear with the ocean stuff. So
So
I just where it's better reception.
does it make you super psychic to be by the ocean?
I've gotten a lot of downloads,
Mm,
singly, personally, and as a whole, and then now it's like this whole little pile of puzzle pieces that are kind of solidifying together.
yeah,
So, and I kind of have to. I was purging a lot of my own things,
yeah.
and so I kind of had to take it all in and then discern things from there up to the point that I can. You know what I mean? I can't let myself go way overboard. That happens a lot
And
to me.
you want to know what's
I mean,
crazy?
the whole balance and everything.
Uh,
It's to be able to discern, like I said, what belongs to you. That's been
hmm
big for me lately. But I think that the whole evolution in it all is how everything's kind of solidifying and falling into place to the point that we can understand, and then continuously breaking through what's that the whole awakening process because we're constantly going through it.
hmm
But I'm not complaining. It's just it's interesting. I know it's been feeling Twilight Zone-ish lately, for
It
sure.
had,
Are
it
you
had,
feeling that?
yeah. So that's what I wanted to tell you because last time we talked, you was telling me you had a random cry day. So I don't know whenever that fucking portal or whatever it was open. Let me tell you, I'm super sensitive. So I realized that so this is something that I told somebody. I had a consultation yesterday. Um, I am at my vote when I'm at my most open. I'm also at my most vulnerable. So when I'm extremely sensitive, I'm also extremely vulnerable. And so while I open myself up to God for Him to give me whatever messages, it's other entities that want to get in this energy too. So,
It's that Scorp, man.
hmm
And I'm kind of like I'm like a little piece of good candy they like, and all the little flies
yeah,
come. It's weird, man. That's what it is. It's crazy. And then I'm like seeing things on all angles, and I'm like, uh, you're trying to figure it out. And it's like that's what I do when I say if I'm not, you got to balance it out because it's not always some of it's not ours. You know what I mean? But I know yesterday I was picking up on literally everything. I mean, I was hearing people's thoughts. I was seeing
hmm
like all these different scenarios and how things are like kind of snowballing. You know what I mean?
hmm
It was like I was like, what the hell? And I was like, all right, just slow it down. And then God has a sense of humor. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing things on the flip side of the spectrum, and I'm just cracking up. So then I also always, just like I always get an angel, I always get the joy spirit too. So I'm like,
hmm
because that kind of keeps you where you kind of balance it all out, I guess. You know what I'm saying? The best that you can. But
God definitely
a
has a
lot of
sense of
purging, a
humor.
lot of purging of emotion. Like when you were talking about the random cry day. So, and when that happens, I let it surface. So whether if I wake up and there's emotion, then I just let it surface because I do believe that in our sleeping state and things like that, that it's just being brought to the surface and washed away. And maybe we don't have to do anything with it at all, but just feel that and
Release
let
it.
it go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And even my mind is so where I want to figure everything out all the time that like I said, I'm Inspector Gadget, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. Because if something, I'll look, even when I'm looking spiritual things up, if I'm looking anything up, because I have to convince myself sometimes I'm not crazy.
That's a real thing. Like,
Right? Seriously, in the vulnerability part, you're right.
hmm
Because I mean, this kind of ties in how we've been speaking up until this point, but there's strength in vulnerability. There's strength in um, our vulnerability and our humbleness, knowing when we're
let me
being
write that
assholes and
down
we're
for the
not.
people. There is strength
You
and
know,
vulnerability.
um, learning and going through our own evolution and realizing things and how far we've come, what we've gone through to get here. and it all ties together, and how you can see everybody, it's like everything's the whole, like when they say the whole world's a stage, so you can see it's like every single person is playing a portion of your life, and you can see it. And then all of a sudden I was getting past life stuff too, and in me setting, like, yeah, sitting by the water and just chilling out and not thinking about nothing is I needed that for sure.
Like I'm at my most peaceful place. You know, we talked about this, by the water. You put me by some water, I am at peace. I am one.
Yeah.
That's where me and God like to, canoodle. We like to talk and spend our time out there. We like to go on picnics and shit.
Yeah,
And he.
definitely. So, well, definitely some lightning bolts of knowledge. But it's all in the same respects, the opposite side of the spectrum, when you're seeing all that evolution, seeing how the yarn ball is unraveling to show you where, from where it started to where it began, or where it took us to this point exactly,
And so, let's dive into today's topic. So, and it's wonderful that you talk about like being outside. So one of the things I love about being outside, it reminds me. So I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I live in a place where there are seasons. You can actually see it go from spring to fall to to winter, then to spring again, to summer, and all of that. So you get to see the seasons. And so one of the most important things about being outside and being present outside is the constant. So Scorpio season, and I just love how the seasons are in sync with with the energies of the universe, because Scorpio is the birth, the death and rebirth season. And so during Scorpio season, that's fall. That's when the leaves die, and but the crazy thing is, even when the leaves die and fall off the tree, the scenery is still beautiful. It's just a different type of beautiful. But they have to fall off in order for new leaves to come. And when the leaves fall off the tree, and the trees don't get mad, they don't get up and be like, fuck this, I can't do this because my leaves died. They stay in their power of being just as beautiful as they are, if not more beautiful, going through the death and life cycle process. So that's why I really love being outside, because outside is a constant reminder of death, rebirth, and transformation. The trees, and but not only that, like the nature does it for us, be it the trees, be it the grass, be it animals, and we see it all the time. But we as humans, this neural cortex, this thing that allows us to make decisions, it fucks with us. It makes us think that we're better than the trees. And that's another look, and that's a rabbit hole, Alice.
Oh, seriously. Yes, very much. And I think, and maybe that's just it. Maybe as from the 3D perspective, that everybody's in this, little physical state and worrying about going to their jobs and going to this and that in trying to subconsciously in so many ways control everything, even if we're not trying. No, you don't realize that you are, but certain things you do, right? Try to control. But yep. I like what and then the natural evolution of what you said about the seasons and everything like that. So it plays within everything. There's just like so many spider webs where like all the knowledge and stuff, and it all ties and tangles, and it doesn't really have to be that tangled though, does it? You know what I'm saying? To be able to just let it flow and let it play out, watch it evolve and grow. And then, okay, so then you get to choose, all right, well, I'll take this and I'll leave that, but that's the discernment process too.
And so let's talk about discernment. I don't know that we really dove into discernment before, because I think that's, especially in the death and life cycle, I think everybody, if we go, textbook spiritual awakening, I think that's a handy dandy tool that every spiritually awake person has in their handy dandy toolbox. Discernment. You have to, like, one of the death and life cycles that you go through is like Harry Potter, when you get your wand or when you get your head, is you get your tool of discernment. You learn how to properly discern things. And you have to trust that, because it's nobody is gonna back you up. So
yes. You took the words out of my mouth in a lot of ways, because I was going to say that's the thing. It's not about, I feel it from my perspective, for what I've learned up until this point, I would say that the biggest thing is to truly trust yourself, trust your heart. you know, clearly we got to balance these two things, right? So if we can meet them in the middle, but I feel like anytime for me, and nobody has to fucking believe anything I'm saying. I don't care. It's not about that. It's about you. It's about personally, you know, your own experiences and the discernment from my perspective up until this point is to say, well, here I'm trying to like communicate or you know, tell somebody, hey, because I want to share it or I want some perspective on it, or you know, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking, you know, no, you got to fucking trust yourself. You know, because I can't always explain it, and maybe it's singly just for you to be shown to you that way. You know what I mean?
And that's
so
another
that's
tool
the
you get.
discernment is to be able to really come to a point to trust what you feel, trust what you know, and when you don't know, just set your buns down because you're not meant to know yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or you're not meant to know at all. Some shit you just
or
not
maybe
meant to
it's
know.
something you're just gonna leave to the side and come back to it later if you're meant to revisit it, right? So, you know, and I think that also part, you know, the other from the flip side to that coin is we're being able to pick and choose what portions of our life we want to delve into in that sense, you know. Like I had clear, but discernment is what does it feel like? What does it feel like for you?
How does it feel? Listen, I be asking motherfuckers how I feel all the time.
You just gave me that visual of D'Angelo on that little slow rotating. And really, if you think about it, life is that little slow rotating display.
How does it feel? How does it feel? How does it feel? How does it feel when you interact with a person? How does it feel when you interact with a thing? How does it feel when you think about a thing? Is this yours? Do you know this is yours? Like, I'm sad, but I know I'm personally not. I don't have anything to be sad for, so this is in mine. But you have to trust that because ain't nobody gonna tell you that. Somebody outside of you will tell you you're crazy. So you know what I'm saying?
It's wild too, because like we're saying, like I guess apparently my energy, I'm just like that little, like that fly thing, and everything just wants to gravitate to me, and that's why it's like important for me to armor up. You know, I'm always armored up, but still, I mean, what the heck? I'm still gonna be vulnerable and be myself because I'm still growing and evolving. It's like that's the thing. It's like we're never done learning, and you kind of screw yourself if you think you are. You know, I always say it, but it's true.
Whoever wants to be done. So I
don't want to be done. I want. There's like this whole like that ocean of knowledge out there. There's this whole like vast ocean sea of knowledge, and it's all for the taking. And so what my role is in this
coming
world
out of you. You're like, I want to know. I want to die.
Well, but think of, remember we were talking. It's kind of like, I think, and also too, we get to pick and choose what side of the spectrum we want to play on, because you're creating your own evolution and sense. You're manifesting instantly. You're creating your own Disneyland, right? So it's kind of like, but then the reflection process, when you have to slow down, is you're also seeing, man, oh dang, I caused that shit myself because I was so worried about. But let's roll it. But let's reverb it back to say that's where the healing and the inner work does, because we're undoing foundations and foundations of crap from God only knows, you know, where. And so that's why there's forgiveness and all of that too. And so in the self-reflection, as I'm stuttering, the self-reflection within it.
Yeah.
So I just come to that point where I think, well, I possess zero guilt and or shame for what I'm going to decide to do next, because this is my story. It's my life. And if I'm learning myself, then that takes you to a next frequency to help the frequency of the person that takes you, the people that you can help next in the work that we do, you know? So when people think that, I think things are the transformation and the rebirth, when everybody thinks that everything's falling away and leaving, well, no, it's because your frequency is not serving it anymore, right? Number one.
It's like the leaves of the tree falling off.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It ties into that.
It's time for it to go. It's no good.
Yeah.
It served its purpose.
Right. And nothing in what I've read, or what I did really like at one time that I read, it's like nothing belongs to you in this life. That was very profound. It doesn't matter. Nothing belongs to you. Everything is a gift. So it's a gift for us to be able to physically see, spiritually see, hear, enjoy the people, our loved ones that we have the opportunity to be around. You know what I mean? When, you know, your pets, your animals, whatever it is, that's your own playground, is all a gift. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, the small stuff, like when the 3D perspective, I think that that's what we're undoing, and that's part of those awakenings. But you can't you get shell shocked a little bit, and then God slows you down. That divine spirit slows you down, mellows you out, shakes you out a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're back on that coaster. And it's just being able to maintain the best you can, and positive environments for sure. I realize that about myself. I cannot be around negative environments.
Not even a little bit, like, and
not even a little bit.
And
nope.
and don't, like, and it's hard, especially coming from, like, I'm a recovering help addict. So like, so it's hard to go from always being there and always giving to people to being like, nah, I can't be around you all the time. It's a, you know, it's not something that I did easily. Like just the other day, I had to talk myself out of helping somebody. I was just like, but I just want to help, you know what I'm saying? But I couldn't, because helping would have been hurting more than helping. You know what I'm saying? For me and that person, you know.
Well, and there's the discernment, and I think that's also to the control. I think that's also the misunderstanding of the control, maybe, when, like, if, okay, it's like it's hard to step back and set those boundaries, not only for ourselves but for others, because it's not my business to help all the time. And you're kind of watching that movie play out, and you're seeing it, because we always can see it so clearly for other people, but we're also living in our own show, right? And so that part of it, it's kind of like, man, I could see this is what I want for you, but that's not my choice. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be strong enough to let things go and let them play out and let people have their free will.
And that's
because our life is each individually gifted to us, right? So what worked for mom or dad may not work for you, and that's okay, because those time frames are done.
Right.
So and also too, in the explanations of, you know, trying to explain your idea or your heart or whatever it is, maybe it's not for everyone. Sometimes maybe it's just for you, because I don't have to explain my vision, because my vision's here and I can see it. So personally right now, I see myself with a stainless steel wall on the left and a stainless steel wall on the right, and I see myself straight forward. And I'm not looking back.
You got your blinders on.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I already played those games. I want to play new chess. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? And so let me tell you, I'm about to tell all my little business, but let's talk. We're gonna talk some real shit. So it was this guy that I was dating. I was crazy about him. I really, really wanted to date him. He wasn't a bad guy at all, you know. He just was set in his old ways, but he was toxic. It was toxic. It was not balanced. You know who I'm talking about, the little dude. So when I finally closed that chapter in my life, when I finally said, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore with you, and I'm not, and it wasn't a fuck you, da, 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 it wasn't, it was just like, no, I just woke up one day and was like, I'm better than this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got up and I walked away, and as soon as I closed that door, the door that I wanted to opened immediately. Like immediately. And so crazy thing is, now the guy that I was chasing, now he's calling me, and I'm not answering the phone anymore because I'm not looking back. And, you know, and that's a definite rebirth in and of itself, because sometimes we don't talk about, like, what about walking away from the people who didn't really do you anything? Like, but you love them, but they didn't do you anything, but they were toxic for you, you know?
Well, yeah, and I respect her. I like what you had said about, you know, knowing when it's just like the song, knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them. When we're creating the own recipes of our life, your building blocks, it's like, so what are my foundations, and how do I want to build, what I'm willing to put up with, what I'm not. That's personal to you. And then it's the bravery and the courage that moves you into that place to say, okay, this is who I am, and it's not about, you know, being an asshole or whatever. It's just the truth. If you know that about you, that's why we have to learn ourselves. Once you know yourself, and we're always learning and growing within ourselves, right? So you learn yourself, you have to be brave enough to have those rules, those own personal foundations and those own personal rules for you. And then there's where the free will is, because the people that you allow into your life, if they choose to cross those boundaries,
rules, then you don't want to be in my life.
Then they executed themselves. So why, you know, so you have to be brave enough to not feel bad and just look at it as a lesson and a blessing on both sides of the spectrum, because it was a lesson. You were brave enough, and it was a lesson that you went through, and you were okay to walk through it regardless, because you still had to be vulnerable in that sense to take the risk to do so. Right.
And it's hard. And what you're saying, it sounds so easy, but it's so hard. Like that's a, you know,
it is hard.
Yeah. And I've definitely had to do that, but it's just like, hey, I told you, I've taken the time out, and I think that's a part of, so my most recent rebirthing, the hope dealer, the thing that bore the hope dealer, in that cocoon, I sculpted boundaries for myself. And that was tough too, but like I made a decision, and so let me tell you, so and it's interesting because so after you come out of that cocoon, people still want to deal with you like you were before you were in the cocoon, and so you give them those boundaries. So for me, it fucked with people because I would always give a boundary, but I would always budge on it. But the Leanne out of the cocoon, she don't budge on her boundaries. So
yeah, they don't like those. They don't like us out of the cocoon, do they? Well, and it is a hard process and a step to take, but brave in that same sense. And you have to walk through the smoke, right? Because you know people are going to be upset. So you walk through the smoke, and then you're navigating from there. But it doesn't mean that you hate people or this, you know.
Yeah, I don't have nothing.
It's up to you. You don't have to treat people bad, but you don't have to deal with their shit either. So. Yeah. And that's when you start attracting that frequency of respect back to yourself. And in return, that's what we would define as a part of self-love, but self-love in the single healing, the inner child healing, right? So then their free flows collectively and can culminate as the whole, because whatever you're working on, like we said before, you're bringing that full circle. And then people got, you know, it's up to you whether you open the door or not. They get to choose the role they play in your life, just like you get to choose the role you want to be in their life, you know. So, and it's all a choice in any given minute. And I'll tell you what, I always think that any given minute anything can change. So why sit, you know, this is stuff I think about, and so I'm thinking, why am I sitting back letting people dictate my fucking life? Or even more important, what makes them think they have the right to do so?
What makes you think you have the right to and the motherfuckers that have the audacity to try to dictate your life, and you be when you snap out of it because you realize they dictating your life, they'll look at you like you fucking crazy. Like, who are you to have power over yourself? Like, bitch, what? Huh?
Right. But then, I mean, it all play. I mean, there's all, but also too, you know, the people that know are from their hearts, and then that's where communication breaks down, because it's just like everything else. Just like when you're thinking in your own thinking process, you can do your discerning. That brings us back to discerning. You can discern it when you're reading something. You can discern it when you're speaking in a conversation, just like the folks that are on our live today. Thank you. They can discern it. You can please, you know, by all means, take with you what is helping you in if you do. We can agree to disagree. It's not about proving it. It's just about trying to open these doors to help people expand and grow, or think about things from different perspectives or levels. You know what I mean? Or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, when your mind starts rolling, then you start. I know I'll start stuttering and shit.
Me too.
Just like I learned Sentiva's not my friend, and thank you for that, Leanne.
It's not. And that's my thing. So I feel like when I start stuttering, my brain be moving faster than my mouth can go.
It does. It happens like that all the time. But that's also too. Like you know, when I speak about recipes and stuff, that's one of my recipes, because I know that I can't catch up to hear sometimes, and that's when you know you're channeling hard, and you just think that it's you, and then you're like, I just think I'm talking. No, man, you're getting fed the information that
you can't get it out fast enough.
No, I can't. I know.
That's the real thing.
You can't. But that's when or sometimes when I'm driving or whatever, I'll get information and I'll try to remember it, or I'll stop and write it down. Or if I got a pen in the car and I'm at a stoplight, then I'll write it on my hand. And then I have like my little journal and I'll write it down because I know that it's going to solidify for something in the future, that something's going to come together. And it always does. It blows my mind the way that happens. But I mean, that's how it happens for me. So.
And that me too. Like I'd be like, oh shit, I got a thought. Like so that's how my creative process works. Like my creative process, like I always got in every room in my house, like it's a chalkboard back there. It's something to write on because you never know when something will pop in my fucking head. I was like, that's creative. It's fun.
I've been in the store. I've been in like a Walgreens, and I got the recording app on my phone. And if I can't get something, then I'll talk it into my phone real quick.
That's smart.
And I was like, smart. Okay, I'm gonna listen to it later and write it down. And I was probably thinking these people probably thinking I'm crazy. I was like, I don't care.
But you said something earlier I wanted to go back to, and I don't know how it ties into this, but I feel like it does in some way. We're gonna make it fit. But you said that everybody ain't meant to see your vision sometimes, like and that's a real thing. And so in transformation, what are you transforming into? Because sometimes you can't explain to somebody what you about to transform into. You got to just do it. And what I learned is the reason why we can't really explain it, because that's like God keeping our mouth shut. Because if we told people and they understood what we were doing, they would do everything in their power to destroy. And I know that sounds fucked up, but that's real.
Yes. And that was okay. Take us back to discernment. Personally, I've learned that lesson, and I think I'm rolling out like a ninja with my Scorpio, because I always say God's a ninja, because just when you think God's not working, that divine love is, and it always and I like the element of surprise, and so I'm kind of playing on that Scorp lately. And what you think isn't. And here's the thing too, to be able to discern the fact of, I think it's just like I said, being comfortable in a sense of that peace in your heart, because it's not up to me to explain who I am to other people, because they may not understand it, but I know who I am. It's up to us. That's our emotional responsibility card. And I think the discernment part is to know what you can tell, what to talk, not walking on eggshells, but who you choose to share it with. Not everybody wants or can understand that. And when you're giving away all your goodies, man, I need some cats in the bag. I got cats in the bag, and I kind of like one of the people like jumping in the fire. I just like to like unleash that whole bag up at once, like when you're ready to blow it up. And so I was speaking to a family member the other day, and it was kind of something of that nature, to say that, what everything means is personal to you. You know what I mean? That's part of that. So if it means something to me, whatever means something to me, just like listening to the song, I'm going to get a whole nother message. And maybe those are your personal, that's the discernment of, but I'm kind of like, I get so excited and I'm like, oh my God, like, and what some of the experiences, even spiritually, that we have, maybe we just see them. You know what I mean? Or when you're on both sides of the spectrum, or when you're with people, or when we're talking on the phone and me and you are chiming in because we've had great conversations too. Well, in that moment, we chose to allow each other in each other's energy, and that's deep gratitude and a blessing. Absolutely. So when you're choosing to share that energy, that opens up that whole space, and that's where the discernment comes in as well, because when you're talking about your peace and things like that, it's like, okay, well, how is this energy and this frequency serving my highest good, my purpose? Not, you know what I mean? Is it hurting me? Those are the questions we're asking ourselves. If the phone's ringing and you already know you don't want to answer it, then don't fucking answer it. That's when I put in under that contact is do not answer.
Do
Or
and
I'll put like 4 question marks, meaning really think about this. Like don't answer it, but then decide to call back when you're ready.
that's real. And people think, shit like that silly, but no, like my family, but coming out of my cocoon, my family, they were with me in my cocoon. So they know. So they were a part of the boundary building. So they know. But like if Leanne say she don't want to or she's not, she like I'm very she's not, don't. If Leanne says don't, or she would not rather, then then don't. But I will respect your boundaries as well. And if
Or
you
not
don't,
to,
huh?
yes, and to actually for empaths, it's hard because then we feel, not to feel the guilt to tell
Yep.
somebody no,
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't mean, everybody's worried, well, this person's going to be mad or this, that, or the other, but maybe there's more respect in the sense of, basically the truth's the truth. I would rather have the truth than some bullshit ass fucking lie
Any
because I
day.
can deal with the truth. I don't
Yeah.
care how sensitive I am. I will deal with the truth because I promise you, we've all dealt with things that the truth's way better than the bullshit spider webs of lies that don't need to be said.
Please, please, please tell me the truth. Like, I don't care what the truth is. I don't care how ugly the
Yep.
truth is. I don't care how nasty the truth is. Tell me the truth. And
Yep.
tell it to me. And one of my things, like, don't ever let me find out don't let me find out my business from the streets because you done lied to me.
Well,
That's a
right.
deal breaker for me too. That's a boundary
Right.
that you're gonna cross because you don't have to lie to me. So if
But
you choose to lie to
also,
me,
yeah, but you're still plus 2 from a bigger perspective of that, because I'm thinking so deep. You're stealing people's free will.
you are. Listen, somebody took.
You know, man, that's you don't have no right to do that.
I told somebody one time. I
Why do
said, you
people
took
think
my
they have
choice
that right?
away. You can't take my choice away. Don't take my choice away from me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that but that's way bigger than any. That's a like if people, and I'm not saying everybody has to think like we think. Clearly they don't. But
Right.
if people were looking at things from the higher perspective, because it's bigger than any of us, you know what I mean? And that's probably part of the transition in this world too. It's like, in the sense, that's the rise and the fall. Because if, like we said, if you don't have passion and purpose in your job, then don't be there.
And
You know what I mean?
and that's
Go find where you can go find what suits you, where
the
your passion and purpose is, because you're not going to do a good job at it, and
and
you're
the
not there for
Aquarius
the right
age is
reason.
making sure that everybody who not in their purpose, who not living in their truth, they won't survive. Like, you can't fake in this atmosphere anymore. Like, that's really the awakening. That's really what's going on. You can't
Yeah.
fake. Like, as much as you try to, it's your truth is going to slip out. So like,
Yep.
and this is
Yep.
where they say the first become last and the last become first, because all the people that were faking, who their masks fall off, and
Yeah.
you really see who was doing, and it's nothing that you can do to stop it. You
I
like you
know.
you can not
And
talk,
then
you can do whatever you want to, but it's nothing you can do to stop
and then you're mad at yourself because you're like, I fucking knew that, but I did, but I gave him a chance. Because you didn't want, but why? Because equally on the other side of that spectrum, you didn't want to see the truth,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the outcome you wanted. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, there's the navigate. There's trying to control
Mm-hmm.
unknowingly the navigation, but it's also too trying to control the free will or try to maybe steal, with the communication of somebody else's perspective. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Dang, that was deep inside. That was kind of deep. It was all tangled up, but it was deep, you know. But it all plays. It all plays, very interestingly it plays. But it's cool to see how if you just even when you're sitting there watching TV or whatever, I'll see people. I'll get messages on the TV, like watching certain. I'll be like, man, I was just having that kind of conversation with somebody, and that might seem, but I'm sure it's happened to you.
Yes, all the time, like for real, and I get missed. So, and that's what I think. I think like people be looking for, and this is how I talk to God. So I can't tell you how you talk to God, and you can't tell me how I talk to God. I'm not saying you, but just
No,
generally
I
people.
know. Well,
You can't
yeah,
tell me how I talk to God is wrong. But I'll say this: it's like I don't. It's not a voice. It's not like, oh, Leandria, you should do this. And I am it's a song, it's a lyric. It's something
Yeah.
that strikes a chord in my head that's there just but maybe hasn't been awakened, and it resonates with me, and it opens up a train of thought, and it's just like
Yeah.
epiphany. But it could be
Yeah.
anything. It could be something I find on the floor. It could be a conversation that I have with a person. God will send a person to say exactly what you need them. He needs you to say to them, or what he needs them to say to you, and you don't know. You just said something, and that's exactly what God needed you to hear. You know what I'm saying? So God will use anything to get to you. You just got to be open to receiving the messages from it.
That's true. Well, we're all I guess we're all evolving doors of energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And wherever there's a hole, I would say, in your energetic field, because we're all works in progress, is where that energy can come in and play with you or against you. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So God speaks, like, okay, so it's God speaks through us through all things, like, just like you said. I agree
Mm-hmm.
with that, and different for everybody. But
Mm-hmm.
also too, if we're in fear, or the things that we're fearful of that we're
Mm-hmm.
hanging on to, which I've
Mm-hmm.
experienced as of late,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then all my fears were like shown to me. All my biggest fears were like shown to me to all these people around me, and I'm like, I feel it's like Twilight Zone-ish. But then also too, I was like, okay, you're navigating through this because you've made it this far. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But and then in the very moment, you have the choices. You got choices whether we want to go left or right. You like you want some candy, little girl. You know not to take the candy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's very plain as day. But what got you to that point? What brought you to that point? Every
what
every
what brought you to that choice? And that's and
every
that
every
goes.
place you've ever been throughout your whole life. Everything since you were little that brought you to this place. You know what I'm saying?
And that
And
goes
that's
back to
why.
you being accountable to you, knowing who you are.
Yeah.
Like, what choices
Yeah.
did I make that got me fucking
Mhm.
here? And do I
Yeah.
like being here?
Yes, and then also too, every day, yeah, every day is a new day. You can every day it's a blessing, but then you have an opportunity to do whatever you want. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And you get to decide what you're going to put up with and what you're not, and
And
all of those
you can
things.
change your mind as to what you'll put up with. What you put up with, somebody can be like,
Right,
"Well, yesterday you
right,
did this shit, but today I don't like that shit, so don't do it." Now,
right.
what I will say is, don't be flaky now. Don't be like, "I like it, then I don't like it, then I like it, then I don't like it," because people not gonna fuck with you. But you have the right to change your mind. You know.
Right, and then but also too, to be okay, be at peace with yourself, to be okay with that, and to be able to
Hmm.
express it
Hmm.
once again, because it just feels like it doesn't have to be that tug of war, that battery, like the positive, the negative. When, like I said, we can agree to disagree, but I can meet you in the middle somewhere. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna keep moving forward.
Just meet me in the
I just heard, you know what? I just heard "You're Contagious." When you were saying that, I was hearing that one song, uh, I'll,
We be channeling all kind of crazy shit.
so that was the truth.
Ah.
The truth
So,
just dropped, and then it was like, decide to be happy now.
so I got these cards. These cards make me think of you. I feel like they're your energy in cards.
What
Uh,
are they called?
they're
Oh, I can
called
see the back.
the Beyond Lemuria deck.
Oh yeah, I want that deck. I like those.
Shout out to
I
JoJo.
don't have that one.
She sent
I've
these
seen
to me.
them
I'll
though.
have
I
to
did
find
get
them and send them to you. I'll see if what I can do for you for Christmas. I'll see.
I was gifted a new deck by my aunt, and I thank her for it very much. And I'll pull from these, but these are cool too.
Those look like those. That's your energy. Your energy is so that like it's this.
Like,
It's
look at
yeah.
there, but
You're a
the
fairy. You're a fairy, Marcy. You
I
have fairy in your blood.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you something that you didn't know about yourself. You
Twinkle
definitely got
twinkle.
fairy. You so crazy. Thank you, Chance. What you said, Vault. Listen, I gotta roll up later. I just smoked. I got shit to do. I gotta go grocery shopping. I can't go grocery shopping on a
Oh,
fresh blunt. That's tragic for everybody involved. Oh, and I have these cards too. I'm gonna pull one of each because these cards make me happy too. This is another deck that J Lo had got for me. And then you know I gotta pull a fucking Jesus card because you
Oh,
know
I don't have. I didn't bring. I'm not in my home state, so I brought my little box with some of these cards. But I'll throw. While you're doing that, I'll pull one of these new ones for the collective who's watching us.
Okay.
Okay. And then before we close up, I'll pull one for you if you want.
Yeah, I'm here for it. You listen, something you told me. So I found out something. Man, we don't have to talk. So you remember you told me something was gonna happen with somebody, middle-aged white lady.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but I found out some stuff. So we'll
Did
have
the truth
to.
come? The
I don't know.
the dark was brought to the light. I told you. They said you don't got to do. What, you know what? While I'm shuffling these cards, if I can give anybody any advice, you don't got to do shit to nobody because they fuck themselves. If you can just be patient and watch it play out, it doesn't, just keep moving forward. It doesn't make no sense to waste our time or energy trying to hope something bad happens to somebody. I don't even got time for that shit.
Right.
Because you're just stopping yourself from your own life, really.
Right. In real life.
It's like let them move forward. Right.
All right.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Two flew out. I gotta get this one that fell on the floor.
I got two too. I got two as well. Balanced forces.
Reading on the floor, kids.
And journey to wholeness.
I like everyone to feel young. That's the fairy Tinkerbell fairy. I mean,
I love
at the end of the day rest. Am I muted? Can I hear you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're probably talking over each other. Go ahead, talk.
Something went way low on the volume for me.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
My mic on. Can y'all hear me? You ain't gotta explain shit.
I don't know why. Probably because we're talking about fairies and things.
They like these bitches. All right. So I'm about to read from my book. I'm gonna read both of these cards for y'all. All right. 19, which is 1. So new beginnings. That's after you just came out of the rebirth stage. You just came from 9 to 10, a new beginning. So the cards are in the alignment. And then you got 33, which is 6.
I just totally lost the volume hearing you.
So I can
hear you a little bit.
Okay, damn. I'm trying to make sure. Is it me? Is it? Damn. It hates us, Marcy.
I'll just keep talking and I'll. You go first.
Okay. I'm about to read. Give me 2 seconds. Okay.
I do love that Lemurian deck though.
Yeah, okay, so this is the card. So y'all can look at it. It's just gorgeous. All right. It says yin and yang, productive flow, masculine and feminine energy, the balance of duality, patriarchal paradigm being rebalanced, equality, balance, and perspective. It says the Lemurian people are said to have been androgynous, meaning that they were not a specific gender, as they were only partially formed in the physical realm. They did not inhibit a paradigm of duality. They were a perfect balance of what became masculine and feminine energy, as it is destined in physical form. We hold a mix of masculine and feminine energy within us. Masculine energy is more about focus, in a forward direction, while feminine is a more holistic and fibral. I know I said that wrong. I know I said that wrong. I'm not even gonna fuck that word up. Jesus. Anyways, masculine energy is is that of logistics and actioning desires into being. And it has more of a controlled, rigid vibration. Feminine energy is a freer flowing, nurturing, creative, and receptive. Both sides are to be celebrated, but in our efforts to rebalance inequity and prejudice can occur. All right, it says this card in the reading. It says this card invites you to look at your masculine and feminine energy for a more balanced perspective. Is the situation at hand on the more masculine or feminine spectrum? Can it be tempered with feminine energy or vice versa? What needs to happen for a more holistic approach? So that's first one, and then we got 33. All right. It says self acceptance, wholeness, unconditional love, soul fragments, returning, accepting others as they are, staying energetically present, accepting all parts of self, healing. Oh man, it just hate us. Healing internal disease. Traditional Japanese painters do not paint the eyes of the deity before they rest of the body, before the rest of the body, as they say this is the element that brings it to life. But for this image, I did just that. It was one of the most profound painting experiences I have ever experienced. I created deep into the night. Marcy coming back. I created deep into the night. Um, Damn, I'm trying to find out where I was. And no matter how hard I tried, I could not put my paintbrush down. At 3 a.m., I was coaxed away, and as I stepped back, I burst into tears. I was deeply upset at the being that had come alive on the canvas. It could be sensed in my art and felt as if it was in me. So she painted. This is what the card looked like. It says the canvas held a half-formed being, part woman, part octopus. She was troubled. The process she was in was quite disturbing to her. After doing clearing, I was able to sleep. The next morning, my housemate inquired what had happened in the night as his pictures were falling off the walls. As I worked on the painting over the next week, it felt as if I was undergoing healing. She was brought to wholeness and became quite beautiful with evolved energy systems, and a sense of enlightenment about and knowing about her. It says this card is about loving yourself and others from a sense of wholeness, exactly as you are right now. Uh, it is only it is only from this space that healing can take place. We may find ourselves in relationships or scenarios where we can see great potential. We may have concepts of others that are not really who they are due to subconscious projections or ideals. We could have the idea that we are feeling that we will feel better about ourselves when we achieve a goal or a status, that success will somehow make everything better. Unfortunately, this takes us out of the present and makes our love somewhat conditional. Magestic Magi is tweaking. She ain't back yet. Let me see if she called me. Um, nah, she ain't called me. Um, it says, all right. Um, all right. So that's that card. That's how we gonna leave that card. So I got one more card for you. I got one more card for you. I hope these cards hitting on something, but this what I'm led to do. I don't know what Marcy doing. I'm about to text her after I finish this card, and if she ain't big yet. What is this? Mercury and Gemini. Oh, I got Mercury and Gemini. Excitement, excitement. So Mercury and Gemini. I'm trying to see. Last time I got Mercury and Gemini and excitement, I think something exciting happened. I think something exciting happened. Um, All right, so I don't know if I showed y'all this card. I know I did. So this is the card, and then we got excitement. All right. Marcy say she trying to get back in, y'all. She say she trying to get back in. Dropped my mic and froze me out. I'm gonna tell her we still here. We still here. Y'all already know this always happens. We can't have a show where some shit don't pop off. We still here, just reading and shit. All right, so it says on a prancing, nervous horse, a sage's figure blows a horn that echoes, broadcasting like rays across a cloudy sky. Behind an old venerated tower, symbolizes past wisdom and achievement. All right, I'm reading my last card.
Think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes, what a
Okay.
man, every time. You're not gonna want to play with me no more
I
on
just said that.
Transmutation
I said
Station.
every time we transmuting shit and we always breaking shit with our frequency. They be like,
I
who
don't
is
know, but we do always get kicked out. But
this?
like I said, let's take it as compliments. We just got to keep fighting harder.
Okay, so I'll read the short of this. It says, when this card appears in a reading, it usually indicates that a questioner will benefit from a period of busy communicative socializing with plenty of short trips related to the question. Negatively, the excitement card can denote a constant changing of mind and jumping from one decision to the next with equal excitement and enthusiasm that annoys other. Um, Events, a publicity campaign, a new subject of study, an opportunity to make a speech, an important decision, changing one's mind on a important issue, a busy social calendar, a busy y'all. That's really my life right now. These cards speaking to your girl. So that's what we got, and then we got drama at the bottom of the deck, and that looked like Mercury and Leo, and I don't ever want to see Mercury and Leo. So make sure you mind your mouth, especially when you're going through the transformation process, because you could get real agitated. And once you come out and once you're enlightened, make sure you have a duty of care to be kind to people who aren't enlightened. So you would think that you could be meaner to them, but you can't because they don't know better. But that's my love message. All right, go ahead, Marcy.
Well, yeah, and if I can chime in on that, like you always say, it says honestly, it's not worth your peace, man. It's not. All right. I'll close this. I'm gonna listen to the part of our broadcast when I got kicked out, so I can appreciate your Lemurian deck.
Okay.
It's like went way low, and then I couldn't hear it at all, and then I chimed back in. But this is Conscious Spirit Oracle.
Okay.
I thought these these cards were pretty cool, so I'll just throw a couple for I'll do a collective draw.
Okay, and let me just pull a Jesus card because I forgot my Jesus card, Marcy. And you know how I feel about my Jesus cards. All right, it says,
I love my Jesus cards too. In the Book of Light, actually, if I could, there's a book called the Book of Light.
Okay.
And all of her messages in the book is all channeled Jesus.
Okay.
And that thing, man's brought me to my knees, crying. That's good. It's right on time.
Okay, it says, all angels shout encore in awe before the glory, in awe before God's visible power. It says, the Lord is good to all, and his tender mercies over all his works. There you go. That's all.
I'm going to show you my card. Okay. Spark of the Divine. It's a number 27 card. And that equates to the 9, but 9s are beginnings and endings, right? Death, transformation, and rebirth. What? Okay, and I reignite the divine spark within me and recognize I am a part of all creation. How we see ourselves mirror through everything. Everything will mirror around you. Everybody in all stages of your life. Everybody we meet shows us at a part of our life that we've grown and evolved from. That's why really we shouldn't judge anybody. Or do our best not to. We're human, right? Okay, so all life forms contain within them the divine spark of the universe, the source, an energetic life force connecting all things together from where all of life evolved. This card is asking you to connect to that divine spark. Acknowledge that you are a part of the whole. By living disconnected and separate from other people and nature, your own life. It says nature, but I think they meant to put nurture your own life. It really does say nature. This is a misprint. You heard it here at Transmutation Station. Wait, okay. Your own life is no longer supported by universal energies. You need to understand that everything you do, say, and think affects everyone and everything around you. Take responsibility for all you do in this life or how it affects all future generations, irrespective of your situation. You still have choices. Make choices that contribute positively to all on this planet. Don't wait for others to lead the way. Always remember what you do to others, you do to yourself. What? That's why we don't need to fucking retaliate. What were we talking about?
What do you
All
do?
Right, I lost my spot too. Hold on.
Oh, damn. Okay, keep going.
I can't help it sometimes. Like, All right. Okay, take charge of your own life, become a responsible, caring human being, and your own divine spark will strengthen your connection to the supportive energies within the universe. As you awaken this connection and aspects of your life, you begin to flow more smoothly and easily. So
it's
be
crazy.
like Bruce Lee, be like water, my friend.
So it's
Huh?
crazy because you missed you couldn't hear my cards, but my cards are a complete alignment with your cards.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, this one brought us. I had a feeling because I could hear. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I already knew it was going to be. That's why I can't wait to actually listen. But this one really brought us home. You know what I'm saying? Because this was like the evolution of our whole show today. That is wild.
you know he always show up. He always bring it. All our shows always end up full circle. That's how we show people, what we do ain't no hocus pocus.
Oh, it's wild. Are we doing a closing statement?
Do what you want. This is your fucking show.
I don't know. I think well, shoot. They're not I just think that find something to be excited about every day. You know what I mean? Like even when things are taking a crap or whatever, there's still I think our past memories and things the trauma stuff, that can stay behind. But the things that spark your heart, the things that spark your heart, like I seen a little dog the other day. I wish everybody could see him, but we were walking down this beach and it was a little what was it? Dang it, he was so cute. He looked like a pug with big ears.
A little pip, not a little
a Boston. Okay. I think it was a little Boston. But anyway, this little dude was like he rolled over, laying flat, like dead, but then like laughing at the same time. And he was just so cute, looking up with those big old eyes. And I was like, oh my God, bust my heart. Because about 10 minutes prior to that, I got my patience got tested. My emotion got tested. And so that's where I felt God reeled me full circle and said, okay, here it is. But I guess that's kind of what I mean. It's like everything doesn't have to be that serious, does it? And maybe, I mean, yeah, some things are more traumatizing than others, clearly, but it's just a moment. It's just a moment. So it can be your good moment or it can be your negative moment, but the negative moments don't count. Just build from the negative to make the positives, right? And balance it all out. But I do know that the scorpion me's got the swords of truth. That's the sneak peek on the ninja.
Listen, that Scorpio, I appreciate that. So the Scorpio is the human lie detector. That's a superpower. I'm happy. Like, it's a gift and a curse, I say, because like I can tell when people lying to me, but then like it's not anything on paper. So people will just lie to me, and I know they lying to me, and they know that I know that they're lying to me, but I can't prove that they lying to me, if that makes sense. Like,
that's where the joke's on them. They're doing that to themselves. You know what I mean? And then and to say that, what, like how you said, how does it feel? What does it feel like? All of our messages and all of our things and the way we receive information and everything, that's personal to us. You got to treat that like your baby. And, and that's a beautiful thing in itself too. So there's a lot of gratitude to be had from that. And I think everybody a lot of people are afraid to honestly hone in on that and allow those recipes or those symbols or whatever it is. Like it's yours. It's yours alone. That's grander than all schemes of things, right? And when people are allowed to let people in your own personal Disneyland, that's a privilege. And that's not just sexual Disneyland. That's even us on the phone. If you're my friend, if I let you in my life, you're letting people in your own personal world.
And that's the thing. I had a friend that I let him into my world, and he came into my world and tried to tell me how to try to make my rules and tell me that my world, how I dealt in my world, was wrong. Like, and we just not friends. And so this is one of those times. It's just like, I don't dislike you. We ain't got no beef, but I don't want you in my world anymore. Like, now you can no longer be in my world. Get off your head. Hey, you're kicked out, doors closed. Bye.
Right. And that's where it's kind of like to each his own.
Yep. Damn.
With that, because I think that's kind of that's actually a little tester, you know, that's a tester almost, not in a negative sense, but maybe testing your boundary to see, okay, are you going to adhere to, are you going to let this, affect you? Are you going to are you going to stick to your evolution? You know what I mean? And I think to not take things so personally and all of that is very hard for empathic people themselves too.
It's
And
very
so,
hard to stick to evolution. Now, that's one thing I want to say. Like, if we're giving a closing statement, it's very hard to stick to evolution. To
mhm,
the stay on the transmutation station train is not easy. Because and you have the right to get off. Like, you can stop your transformation at any time. Like, you are not. This is a God. A God is a God of free will. So He doesn't make you change. He doesn't make you do anything. You have to voluntarily put
mhm,
yourself through the blood, sweat, and tears
yeah,
that it takes to fucking transform. And everybody don't like some people start the journey of transformation and get off midway. And I hate, and one of my things is I don't ever want to almost get there and then just turn around. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Nah, fuck that. I'm going all the way.
Well, have you ever witnessed or heard or something about where like a lot of spiritual people, I don't know how, I don't like to categorize it, but a lot of spiritual people or readers or something, they'll get to a certain level and then they just totally stop. It's
Mm-hmm.
because that energy, just like when we're getting on
Mm-hmm.
this show, that when they're navigating, because the stakes get higher, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
energetically, and even right
Mm-hmm.
now in the frequency and all of that. And I think that because the war is on the mind, that there's things that try to stop us from
Mm-hmm.
going farther. But I'm like, shoot.
You said something. You said a war is on the mind. Shout out to the Peace Deal. I gotta text him back. Make sure y'all check out where Peace Meets Hope this weekend and motherfucking what culture talk. But neither here nor there. Like
Yeah.
the war is on the mind, and so the one thing that you need to be strengthening more than anything is mental. You need mental fortitude, and what does that look like? And you build that in transformation. You build that death, birth, and transformation. But it's not easy. It's not easy. It's like
No.
any training you go through is not easy, you know?
No, it's not, but there's a lot to be said, as you're going through it and just taking, once again, taking it all in, enjoying all the moments, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, like we say,
Mm-hmm.
and and not being so hard on ourselves. So what? What's the worst that happens? You get up and you try again. We're grateful for that breath,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
also too, don't let nobody steal your breath because it's yours.
Don't let nobody steal your breath. Don't let nobody, and they will. Motherfuckers was trying to take your air. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. But it's
Yep.
worth it. It's not easy, but it's worth it. That's one of my favorite quotes.
Right.
Like I wouldn't, if you ask me today, right now, what and I don't know what God got for my life. Everything could change in a second. But like right now, if is what I went through worth where I'm at right now? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you ask me when I was in it, because I was trying to find the nearest motherfucking stop. When is this train stopping? Let me off. But I'm happy that I took the full ride, if that makes sense, and I got to, and I won't say to my destination, but I got past the rough part. And I'm sure we'll have more, it'll be more tumultuous, things, but I'll make it through those as well until I stop making it through those.
Right.
You know?
Right. And then, but maybe too, also too, even though we are coming into those, we're coming, yeah, life's not always sunshine and rainbows, clearly, but because you strengthened your character, you
Mm-hmm.
strengthened your heart, and you trust yourself, maybe, and you're collaborating and combining with the
Mm-hmm.
frequencies that match yours, then now you had a structure of a divine support group. You have structures of
Mm-hmm.
people in the evolution of frequency that matches
Mm-hmm.
yours. And when we have strong foundations, just like when we're building strong foundations within ourselves, we're always growing and learning, right? We got that
Mm-hmm.
together, and then basically you have your little army and your bags of your mind data bank, your feelings, and the
Mm-hmm.
vibrations of your body, what it feels
Mm-hmm.
like, and
Mm-hmm.
and kind of take those spaces, because I think sometimes life just gets ahead of us. And when's the last time you honestly when's the last time you honestly felt like all of your fingers, and or all of your,
Mm-hmm.
we people most of the time, and that's not chastising, but
Yeah.
when do people actually feel their body is when
Mm-hmm.
their body's not working for them. You know,
yeah,
you
that's
stub
when
your
they start
toe and now
paying
you're
attention
out.
to
Now
it.
you're focused on why your toe hurts when you should have been feeling them feet walking that ground anyway.
Yeah,
Because you know, and we all fall short sometimes, clearly, but that's a beautiful feeling. So that to be able to be mindful of that and reel yourself back home to yourself.
To bring yourself back home to yourself, and that's all rebirth is just bringing you back to the core of you. Is unraveling all the things in the world that you didn't got caught up in. It's just like walking and getting dirty and then taking a bath and cleaning yourself up and putting your nice clothes on again. And then you know, same nice clothes, you're gonna walk again and get all dirty and all wound up all over again, and then you're gonna have to fucking go take a shower and clean all of that fucking gunk off. And some stuff,
I honestly try my hardest not to repeat lessons.
Right. And sometimes you do repeat lessons, and them be like, and them be the hard ones to be like, damn, I let myself go through that again, bitch.
Well, and then you just gotta have the humor at the end of the day. Be like, oh, whatever.
Right. Just
It's what it is.
Let me drink a shot. I know how this about to go. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
All right, Marcy, I gotta go grocery shopping and I gotta create.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. It's a pleasure always.
It's a pleasure. I appreciate you. This was a good time. We will see you guys on the next Transmutation Station. So we're gonna do these bi-weekly. So not this Monday coming up, but the Monday after that, you will see me and Marcy talking about transmuted shit.
Oh yeah, what's our next topic? This one's gonna be fun.
Oh,
these motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, these motherfuckers. I was telling my sister about that. These motherfuckers. That's our next show. These motherfuckers.
That's all we're saying. Mic drop. Cut the show off right now, Leanne. Mic drop.
Bye.
Bye.